Did you know that some of the cleaning tricks passed down for generations aren't just outdated, they're actually dangerous? Experts in 2025 warn that many of the habits seniors still use can trigger falls, breathing issues, skin irritation, and even long-term health risks. And here's the shocking part. Most people don't even realize these so-called helpful routines are putting them at risk every time they clean. Think about it. How many times have you reached for bleach because you were taught it fixes everything? Or scrubbed a stain until your wrists ached because someone told you elbow grease was the only way? Maybe you've even mixed two cleaners together for extra strength, not knowing that the fumes could harm your lungs. These myths aren't saving you time or giving you a cleaner home. They're quietly stealing your safety, your health, and your energy. But here's the good news. You don't have to keep repeating these mistakes. Today, we're uncovering 7 cleaning myths that too many seniors still believe. And I promise by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stop doing so you can protect your home and your health. Some of these will surprise you, because they are probably things you've done your whole life. Before we dive in, take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Why? Because these small, life-saving tips could make the difference between a safe, comfortable home and unnecessary health struggles. And if you've ever wondered why cleaning feels harder and more draining than it used to, stay with me. This might be the eye-opening answer you've been waiting for. Let me introduce you to Dolores Dolly Markham, an 81-year-old retired piano tuner from Pennsylvania. For decades, Dolly had the sharpest ear in town. Neighbors used to say she could hear when a note was even slightly off before she touched a single key. Her hands had carefully tuned hundreds of pianos, yet when it came to her own home, she clung to the cleaning habits she inherited from her mother back in the 1950s. One of her proudest treasures was a faded feather duster she'd kept since her 20s. Dolly used to laugh and say, "They don't make them like this anymore. This thing works better than anything modern." She believed her old tricks, like dousing every surface with bleach or scrubbing until her knuckles ached, were the right way to keep her home spotless. But what she didn't realize was that these same habits were quietly harming her health. The wake-up call came one winter when she developed a deep, hacking cough that wouldn't go away. At first, she thought it was just age or maybe the cold weather. But when a trip to urgent care revealed lung irritation linked to chemical exposure, she was stunned. It wasn't her age catching up with her. It was the cleaning myths she had trusted all her life. The products, the overscrubbing, even the old feather duster were making her sick instead of keeping her safe. That was the moment Dolly began to see things differently. She realized that what worked in the past isn't always safe for the present, especially as our bodies change with age. Her story is a reminder that habits passed down from our parents or neighbors aren't always helpful. They can be harmful. And that's exactly why we're here. Dolly's journey shows us how dangerous these cleaning myths can be, and why it's time for seniors everywhere to embrace safer, smarter, and easier ways to care for their homes. Here's the expanded myth number 1 section crafted to pull seniors in emotionally, while also giving them practical, safe alternatives. Myth number 1. Bleach fixes everything. For generations, bleach was seen as the ultimate cleaner, the cure-all for every stain, smell, and germ. Many seniors grew up hearing that if it wasn't scrubbed with bleach, it wasn't truly clean. But here's the truth. In 2025, doctors and researchers are warning that this belief is not only outdated, it's downright dangerous, especially for older adults. Overusing bleach releases harsh fumes that can irritate the throat, damage lung tissue, and worsen conditions like asthma or COPD. And while younger people might shrug off a mild irritation, seniors are far more vulnerable. Studies now show that repeated exposure can actually accelerate breathing difficulties and increase the risk of chronic respiratory problems. In other words, what feels like a deep clean might be slowly stealing your breath. This reality hit home for Dolores Dolly Markham, our 81-year-old piano tuner. Dolly believed bleach was her best friend. Every week, without fail, she poured cups of it into her bathroom sink, onto her tiles, and even down her drains. She said the sharp smell reassured her that her house was truly clean. But that reassurance came at a price. Her cough grew worse each winter until her doctor gently told her the truth. It wasn't her age causing her lungs to tighten. It was the bleach. The good news is, seniors don't need to give up on cleanliness, just on overusing bleach. Everyday cleaning doesn't require harsh chemicals at all. Simple solutions like vinegar and baking soda can cut through grease and soap scum without harming your lungs. A spray of diluted vinegar can leave your counters fresh. A sprinkle of baking soda can make sinks and tubs shine. And for those who still want the reassurance of disinfecting, bleach can be reserved only for rare situations, like sanitizing after illness or tackling stubborn mole patches. The smarter seniors are no longer fighting their homes with toxic strength. They are protecting their health with safer, gentler tools. Dolly put away her gallon jug of bleach, and she says her home still sparkles, but now she can breathe deeply, without coughing fits. So here's the takeaway. Bleach is not the enemy, but it's not the everyday friend it once was. For seniors, true cleanliness means protecting both the home and the body. And that starts by letting go of the myth that bleach fixes everything. Myth number 2. Scrubbing harder means cleaner. For decades, many seniors believed that the secret to a spotless home was sheer elbow grease. The harder you scrubbed, the cleaner things got, or so the myth goes. But here's the truth. Scrubbing harder doesn't make things cleaner. In fact, it can wear down both your house and your body. Overscrubbing can actually damage the very surfaces you're trying to protect. Countertops lose their shine. Pots and pans get scratched. Bathroom tiles wear thin. And more importantly, for seniors, that extra strain often lands on wrists, shoulders, and knees, the very joints already vulnerable with age. It's not just tiring. It can cause injuries that make cleaning even harder down the road. Dolores Dolly Markham, the retired piano tuner we met earlier, knows this all too well. One Saturday morning, she was determined to finally tackle a stubborn ring in her bathroom sink. She pawed on her favorite powder cleaner and scrubbed like her mother had taught her, furiously, with both hands pressing down. The stain didn't budge, but something else did, her wrist. By that evening, it was swollen and sore. A doctor later told her the stain could have been lifted by a simple vinegar soak. Dolly didn't need force, she needed patience. That's the lesson seniors across the US are now embracing in 2025. Smarter cleaning doesn't require grinding your joints into dust. It requires letting products do their job. Most modern and even natural cleaners are designed to work best when they sit for a few minutes. Vinegar dissolves soap scum if you leave it for 10 minutes. Baking soda pulls up odors if sprinkled overnight. Even dish soap cuts grease better when it has a chance to rest on a pan instead of being scrubbed immediately. Think about it like this. Would you try to play a piano by pounding the keys harder, or by letting the music flow naturally? Cleaning is no different. The goal isn't force, it's finesse. By giving cleaners time to work, seniors can protect their precious energy, reduce strain on their joints, and avoid damaging their homes. Dolly now laughs when she tells her story. I thought scrubbing harder proved I cared. But really, it just proved I was doing it the hard way. Today, she sprays, soaks, and wipes, saving her strength for the things that truly matter, like playing her favorite hymns on the piano again. So here's the truth. Harder isn't smarter. If you want a clean home without the pain, let time and technique, not brute strength, do the heavy lifting for you. Here's the expanded version of myth number 3. Mixing cleaners makes them stronger, tailored for seniors with both urgency and empathy. Myth number 3. Mixing cleaners makes them stronger, 4:01 to 5 o'clock. It sounds logical, doesn't it? If one cleaner works, then mixing two together must make it even stronger. Many seniors learned this from their parents or neighbors decades ago. Combine bleach with ammonia, or pour 2 different sprays into the same bucket for extra power. But in 2025, experts are crystal clear. This is one of the most dangerous cleaning myths still circulating in American households. Mixing bleach and ammonia creates a toxic gas called chloramine. Even one whiff in a small, enclosed space like a bathroom or laundry room can burn your eyes, inflame your lungs, and in serious cases, land you in the hospital. And that's not the only risky combination. Bleach mixed with vinegar releases chlorine gas. Ammonia mixed with alcohol produces dangerous vapors. These aren't just unpleasant smells, they are chemical reactions that can turn everyday cleaning into a life-threatening event. Dolores Dolly Markham, the retired piano tuner from Pennsylvania, will never forget the day she tried this. Frustrated by a greasy kitchen sink, she grabbed a bottle of bleach and then added some ammonia-based spray, thinking it would cut through the grime faster. Within minutes, her eyes were watering, her throat burned, and the room spun around her. She later admitted, "I thought I was just getting lightheaded from standing too long, but I was actually poisoning myself." Luckily, she opened a window and sat down before things got worse. But the scare was enough to make her rethink everything she believed about strong cleaning. The truth is, seniors don't need chemical cocktails to get results. In fact, many modern single-purpose cleaners are designed to be more effective and far safer than mixtures. For those who prefer a DIY route, natural solutions like vinegar, baking soda, or lemon can clean just as well, without the risk of creating toxic gases. A simple vinegar and water spray can handle windows. Baking soda with warm water scrubs away stovetop stains. Lemon slices can deodorize a fridge better than any extra-strength spray. Here's the golden rule: never mix cleaning products. Each cleaner has its purpose, and doubling up doesn't increase strength, it multiplies danger. Dolly now uses one product at a time and says it's changed more than just her safety. "I used to think cleaning had to smell strong to be strong. Now I know the safest clean is the smartest clean." So if you want to protect your health, your lungs, and your peace of mind, throw out the old belief that mixing is better. In reality, simpler is safer and smarter. Myth number 4. Feather dusters actually work. For decades, feather dusters were seen as the elegant cleaning tool of choice. They looked graceful, almost like something out of an old movie scene. Many seniors still keep one tucked away, convinced that swishing it across a shelf or lamp gives the room a quick refresh. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Feather dusters don't actually remove dust, they just push it around. In fact, studies now show they scatter fine particles into the air, which then settle back down within hours, leaving surfaces just as dusty, and making the air more irritating to breathe. For someone with allergies, asthma, or simply aging lungs, this scattered dust can be more than annoying. It can trigger sneezing fits, watery eyes, coughing, and even worsen conditions like COPD. What seems like a quick tidy-up is actually a hidden health risk, especially for seniors who spend more time indoors and breathe that recycled air. Dolores "Dolly" Markham learned this lesson the hard way. She adored her feather duster from the 1950s and often joked it had outlived 3 vacuum cleaners. She'd glide it across her piano, shelves, and lamps, enjoying the satisfying feeling of seeing the surfaces look instantly clay. But hours later, she noticed her living room always seemed dusty again, and her throat felt scratchy. One afternoon, after dusting before her daughter's visit, Dolly coughed through the entire conversation. Her daughter pointed out that the room smelled like dust, not clean air. Dolly later realized her beloved feather duster wasn't helping at all. It was making things worse. The solution? Microfiber cloths. Unlike feathers, microfiber is designed with tiny fibers that grip dust, dirt, and even allergens, holding onto them instead of tossing them back into the air. A single swipe traps particles, leaving surfaces actually clean. Better yet, they are lightweight, washable, and affordable. Many seniors find them easier to handle than lugging heavy cleaning tools. And in 2025, microfiber isn't just for rags. You'll find it in dusting gloves, mop heads, and even extendable dusters for hard-to-reach spots. Dolly eventually retired her feather duster, placing it in a shadow box as a keepsake rather than a tool. She now swears by microfiber cloths and laughs at how much fresher her living room feels. "I thought dust was part of aging," she said, "but it turns out it was just bad cleaning habits." The myth of the feather duster is one seniors should leave behind. A tool that scatters dust is not saving time, it's costing health. The smarter, safer choice is microfiber, because true cleaning means capturing the dust, not recycling it back into your air. Myth number 5. Windows need newspaper to shine. For generations, the go-to trick for sparkling windows was simple. Grab yesterday's newspaper, ball it up, spray some cleaner, and rub until the glass gleamed. It was cheap, fast, and something many seniors learned from their parents or neighbors decades ago. But what worked in 1965 doesn't necessarily serve us in 2025, and this myth is one that needs to be retired. Here's the truth: newspapers today aren't printed the same way they once were. The ink can leave smudges behind instead of shine, staining your fingers and even transferring onto window frames or curtains. Even worse, those stiff newspaper edges can create tiny scratches on glass over time, damage that builds up slowly but permanently dulls clarity. Add in the physical strain of crumpling, pressing, and scrubbing, and this cheap trick is anything but senior-friendly. Dolores Dolly Markham knows this all too well. For years, she swore by her stack of old newspapers for window day. She liked the idea of recycling them into something useful. But arthritis in her hands made it harder to scrunch the paper tight, and she noticed her wrists ached after just one window. One spring afternoon, she gave it another try, only to find streaks on the glass, black ink on her blouse, and swollen knuckles by evening. She admitted later, "I thought the streaks were just my eyes getting older. Turns out it was the newspaper failing me." So what's the smarter, safer choice? Coffee filters or microfiber cloths? Coffee filters are lint-free, lightweight, and easy to grip, making them ideal for seniors with joint pain. Microfiber cloths, already popular for dusting, are equally effective on glass. They grab dirt and residue without leaving streaks, and they are washable, saving both money and effort. In fact, professional cleaners in 2025 almost universally recommend microfiber over any paper product because it cleans in fewer swipes and protects the surface long-term. The best part? Using these tools means less pressure, less scrubbing, and less pain. No more wrestling with stiff paper or ending up with black ink-stained fingers. Dolly eventually traded her newspaper pile for a set of microfiber cloths, and she said the first time she cleaned her kitchen window without streaks or sore hands, she felt like she'd discovered a secret she wished she'd known years earlier. The myth of newspapers shining windows is one seniors can finally let go of. Cleaning smarter, not harder, means embracing tools designed for today, not yesterday. And that small change can make windows sparkle brighter and lives feel just a little easier. Myth number 6. The stronger the smell, the cleaner the room. For decades, commercials taught us that a truly clean home smelled like sharp lemon, strong pine, or even chemical bleach. Many seniors grew up believing that if a room didn't have that sting-in-your-nose freshness, it wasn't really clean. But here's the modern truth. A strong scent doesn't equal clean. It often means you're breathing in chemicals that can quietly harm your health. In 2025, studies continue to show that many household cleaners rely on heavy artificial fragrances to mask harsh ingredients. That lemon scent? It may be covering up volatile organic compounds, VOCs, that irritate the lungs. That pine freshness? It could be laced with synthetic chemicals that trigger headaches or even dizziness. For seniors, especially those with asthma, COPD, or sensitive sinuses, this can make cleaning not just uncomfortable but dangerous. Dolores Dolly Markham experienced this firsthand. For years, she loved spraying her counters until the whole kitchen smelled like a citrus grove. Visitors would walk in and say, "Wow, it smells so clean in here." But behind her smile, Dolly often felt pressure in her temples and a tickle in her throat. One day, after a long scrubbing session with her favorite mountain air spray, she woke up in the middle of the night with a pounding headache and tightness in her chest. She told her doctor about it, and he said something that shocked her. "Dolly, your home smells clean, but your body is telling you it isn't safe." That was her turning point. She began swapping out the chemical-heavy products for unscented, non-toxic cleaners. At first, she missed the smell of clean, but then she noticed something better. No more lingering headaches, no more coughing fits. And when she really wanted her home to smell inviting, she opened the windows for fresh air or added a few drops of lavender essential oil to a cotton ball in the corner of the room. Her house felt fresher than ever, and this time, it wasn't a cover-up. The fix is simple but powerful. Stop chasing strong smells. Start chasing true clean. Look for fragrance-free or naturally scented products. A vinegar and water spray can sanitize without leaving chemical residue. Baking soda naturally absorbs odors instead of hiding them. And if you want that uplifting scent, choose natural essential oils like eucalyptus, lemon, or lavender, but use them sparingly and safely. Dolly now says, "My house no longer smells like chemicals. It just feels clean." And that's the key difference. A clean home should bring peace to your mind, not pain to your body. Let go of the myth that stronger is better. True cleanliness is about health, safety, and comfort, not about whether the air smells like a chemical factory. Myth number 7. Cleaning has to be done in one marathon day. For generations, many of us were taught that Saturday was cleaning day. You woke up early, tied on an apron, and didn't stop until the whole house sparkled. That tradition worked when we were younger, but for seniors, it can be one of the most harmful cleaning myths to hold on to. The truth is, marathon cleaning days are not only exhausting, they can be dangerous. When seniors push through hours of bending, lifting, and scrubbing in a single day, the risks skyrocket. Long cleaning sessions increase the chance of falls, aggravate arthritis, and put unnecessary strain on the heart. In fact, recent studies in 2025 show that extended physical exertion without proper breaks can trigger fatigue-related accidents in adults over 65. The very act of trying to get it all done at once can backfire, leaving you too sore or drained to enjoy the clean house you worked so hard for. Dolores Dolly Markham knows this story too well. She clung to the old habit of dedicating every Saturday to housework. It felt wrong to stop until everything was spotless, she said. One weekend, she powered through nearly 6 hours, vacuuming, mopping, scrubbing the bathroom, even rearranging her shelves. By the time she finished, she was so exhausted she had to sit down on the stairs to catch her breath. The next morning, she couldn't get out of bed. Her back throbbed, her knees ached, and the house already looked lived in again. That victory cleaning spree had stolen her Sunday, and nearly her health. Her turning point came when her granddaughter, a physical therapist, told her, "Grandma, cleaning isn't a marathon. It's a series of short sprints." Dolly began shifting her mindset. Instead of 6-hour Saturdays, she broke tasks into 15 or 20-minute sessions spread throughout the week. One day, she'd focus just on wiping kitchen counters. Another day, she'd vacuum the living room. She even set a timer to remind herself when to stop, sip some water, and rest. The results shocked her. Not only was her home consistently tidier, but she felt more energy and less guilt. "I realized my house stayed clean longer because I wasn't burning myself out," Dolly shared. "And I finally stopped dreading cleaning day, because there wasn't one anymore." The fix is clear: ditch the myth of marathon cleaning days. Replace it with short, consistent routines. Use timers, take breaks, and remind yourself that progress, not perfection, is the goal. Your health is worth more than spotless floors. By letting go of this myth, you're not being lazy, you're being smart. Dolly says it best: "I stopped treating cleaning like punishment. Now it feels like peace." So, let's take a moment to step back. Today we uncovered 7 cleaning myths that too many seniors still believe, myths that don't just waste time, but quietly put health and safety at risk. From thinking bleach fixes everything, to overscrubbing until your wrists ache, from mixing cleaners that create dangerous fumes, to relying on feather dusters that scatter dust, from smudging windows with old newspapers, to chasing that overpowering clean smell, and finally, pushing through exhausting all-day marathons. These habits are not helping. They are hurting. Dolores Dolly Markham shared it best when she reflected on her own journey. "I thought I was keeping my home safe. But once I let go of the myths, I finally felt safe myself." Her story is a reminder that protecting your home also means protecting your health. Cleaning should never come at the cost of your lungs, your joints, or your peace of mind. Now, here's where you come in. If Dolly's story opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe to Elderly Dose, and share this video with another senior, or even a family member, who deserves to clean safely and live with peace. You never know whose life you might change by passing this along. And before you go, don't miss our next video. It's one of the most important ones we've ever done: 10 daily habits secretly aging seniors faster than they realize. You'll want to be the first to know what they are, because stopping those habits today could give you back years of strength and independence.